So welcome everybody to Youth Week WA 2021 KickstART Festival. We're right in the middle of the festival, and today we are here with Valerie from Brown Girl Bloom for Activate Your Inner Creative guided meditation. Just wanted to start off the session with an acknowledgement of country. So the Youth Week WA KickstART Festival takes place on Noongar Boodja. We acknowledge the ownership and are grateful for the custodianship of the people who originate from the Whadjuk Nation. We would also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the country throughout Australia, and we pay our respects to elders past and present. We are committed to reconciliation and supporting Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander young people. So I think I'll just hand over to Valerie, who will take you through this guided meditation. Thanks, Valerie.
Thank you so much for doing such a beautiful acknowledgement to country. Welcome everyone. I'm Valerie Weyland, the founder of Brown Girl Bloom, a loving space for Black, Indigenous, and women of color to heal, bloom, and thrive. But I also believe that it is our birthright as human beings, as spiritual beings beyond these mortal bodies, to bloom and thrive. So welcome to everyone that's joining us now. And if you're watching this later, I hope that you find a deep sense of bliss and joy during this time. While you're joining, and again, if you're joining in later, I do have a little question for you to reflect on. How do you create space for pleasure to arise? How do you create space for pleasure to arise? I know in today's society, in Western civilization, pleasure is usually related to one thing, but pleasure is this deep emotion that sits down within our, what I call our sacral chakras, so our lower abdomen. And when you feel it, time stands still. You feel so much bliss in that moment. And I believe that in order for us to really bloom on this earth, we need to find pleasure and joy in every facet of our being. At school, at work, at home, everywhere. So I encourage you to reflect on that or share it in the comment section. I'd also like to acknowledge your ancestors and your guardian angels and your archangels, because without them, you wouldn't be here. And so I send my gratitude to all of our ancestors for continuing to guide us through this beautiful life that we have. And may we be also a source of light for others. One thing that I didn't touch on in my previous guided meditation, which you can find here on this page, but as well as on Brown Girl Bloom, is that our ancestors are not limited to those that we are solely blood related to. Your ancestors can be the ones that have shown you a profound sense of love and compassion. I often feel deeply connected to my ancestors in Indonesia. I come alive whenever I go there. So I know that I have deep connections to the soil and the roots. Just a little bit about Brown Girl Bloom. One, if you can't tell already, I'm not Australian. I am Nigerian American from Inglewood, California. And I moved to beautiful Australia in 2012 in my search for my sense of self and who I am and what fulfillment means to me. But in my journey, I realized that inner healing creates inner fulfillment. There was nothing outside of myself that could give me the deep sense of joy that I found within. And as I filled my own cup with love and I nurtured my wounds, I began to feel called to serve the needs of women who look just like me. And thus Brown Girl Bloom was born. So we're gonna flow into the guided meditation. But before we do that, I want to encourage you to find a quiet space. Oftentimes, we have a space for studying, for eating, for watching TV, and everything else, but we do not have a quiet space to be still and observe our thoughts. So I encourage you to find that space, but if you can't, just get comfortable where you're at and maybe reflect on that a bit later. So as you're getting comfortable, ensure that your spine remains erect. Many times when we sit, we often hunch over, which means that we create blockages in our body and we become restless and bound by our mortal body. So keeping an erect spine and keeping your chin parallel to the floor allows for your body to still and for you to move into a higher place. I also encourage you to unclench your fists if they are, and place them open and upwards down on your lap. Make sure that both of your feet are planted firmly on the ground. This will help to keep you deeply rooted with Mother Earth. In my meditations, I like to start each one with the cycle of breathing. And in this sense, we will breathe in from our belly all the way to our crown chakra, or the top of our head. We will hold it for 7. So we breathe in for 7, we're going to hold for 7, and we're going to breathe out for 7 through the mouth. So as you're getting comfortable, I'm going to start the meditation music. We are going to enjoy a peaceful meditation to activate our inner creative. While you're getting comfortable, I'm going to light a little bit of Palo Santo that I was gifted by an ethical business called Made From Care. I believe they're over east. This is just to bring in a lot of good energy and love during this meditation. Sending lots of love, good energy your way. So join me in closing your eyes. Again, remembering to keep your spine erect and your chin parallel to the floor. Keep your feet firmly planted and rooted on the earth. We're going to start with cycles of breathing. Breathe in for 7. Hold. Breathe out for 7. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Last one, breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Now completely let go. Continue to follow the natural flow of your breath. Breathe into each crevice of your body. Release any tension you might be holding with each breath. Release any burdens you might be carrying with each breath. Sometimes it takes a little while to get into a deep state of peace. So be gentle with yourself. If there are thoughts arising, just send them love. Release any judgment or criticism. Allow for them to slowly drift away. Come back to your breath. In the spirit of activation, which means to reawaken or re-energize, we are going to release energetic blockages in your chakras. Chakras are the wheels of energy that flow through your body. And we each have 7 that run along the spinal column of our body. We're going to deeply inhale and deeply exhale with the sound of this is a sound of liberation, relaxation, and bliss. We're going to start at the base of your spine with the root chakra, the color red. This is where you hold your connection to family and Mother Earth, your foundation. This is where your sense of safety and stability form. Inhale. Exhale. See the color red flowing in complete balance. You're now going to move upwards to your lower abdomen, which is your sacral chakra, the color orange. This is where you hold your connection to others and your ability to embrace new experiences. This is where you hold your sense of abundance, well-being, and pleasure. Inhale. See the color orange flowing in complete bliss and balance. We're now moving upwards to your upper abdomen, which is your solar plexus, the color yellow. This is where you hold your inner perception of self. This determines your sense of self-worth and self-confidence. Breathe in. Breathe out. See the color yellow flowing in complete balance. You're now moving to the heart chakra, exactly where your heart is. This is the color green. As you may imagine, this is where you hold your ability to love. This is where divine love and inner peace arise. Breathe in. Breathe out. See the color green floating in complete harmony right at your heart. We're now moving up to your throat and the throat chakra. This is the color blue. This is where you hold your ability to speak your truth. This is where you form your sense of self-expression. When it comes to emotions and feelings, this is how you express your truth and your wisdom. Breathe in. Breathe out. See the color blue floating in complete balance. We're now moving upwards to the third eye chakra. This sits in between your eyebrows. This is where your intuition lies. This is where you channel imagination, wisdom, and so much more. This is the color indigo. Breathe in. Breathe out. See the color indigo flowing in complete balance. We're now moving to the last chakra at the top of your head, the crown chakra. This is where you hold alignment to source. This is where ever-present bliss and spirituality arise. This is the color violet, or purple. Breathe in. And breathe out. See your rainbow of love. Space where euphoric pleasure grows and thrives. See each chakra converging at the center of your being, your soul. Immerse yourself in this balanced and harmonious ocean of love. As you embrace this balanced state of love, you activate untapped creativity, often submerged by chaos and noise. In this space where pleasure flows, lean in and use this space to create magic. Send gratitude for your now. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. So beautiful. I hope you're feeling lots of love flowing all through your body and your soul. So as you're opening your eyes, just want you to enjoy this moment and just sit with it. I'm going to share an excerpt from a book that has really brought me lots of inspiration. It's by an African-American author, Audre Lorde, and the book is called The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House. This chapter is called Uses of the Erotic. The erotic is a measure between the beginning of our sense of self and the chaos of our strongest feelings. It is an internal sense of satisfaction to which, once we have experienced it, we know we can aspire. For having experienced the fullness of this depth of feeling and recognizing its power, in honor and self-respect, we can require no less of ourselves. It is never easy to demand the most from ourselves, from our lives, from our work. To encourage excellence is to go beyond the encouraged mediocrity of our society. But giving into the fear of feeling and working to the capacity is a luxury only the unintentional can afford. And the unintentional are those who do not wish to guide their own destinies. I'm just going to read a little bit, another excerpt. The erotic functions for me in several ways. And the first is in providing the power which comes from sharing deeply any pursuit with another person. The sharing of joy, whether physical, emotional, psychic, or intellectual, forms a bridge between the sharers which can be the basis for understanding much of what is not shared between them, and lessens the threat of their difference. Another important way in which the erotic connection functions is the open and fearless underlining of my capacity for joy. In the way my body stretches to music and opens into response, hearkening to its deepest rhythms, to every level upon which I sense, also opens to the erotically satisfying experience. Whether it is dancing, building a bookcase, writing a poem, examining an idea. That self-connection shared is a measure of the joy which I know myself to be capable of feeling. A reminder of my capacity for feeling. And that deep, irreplaceable knowledge of my capacity for joy comes to demand from all of my life that it be lived within the knowledge that such satisfaction is possible and does not have to be called marriage, nor God, nor an afterlife. So I encourage you to listen to that over and over again and see how it connects with your soul and your spirit. This is why I opened this session asking you how you create space for pleasure. Often it is a deep, untapped feeling within ourselves that we almost never see. And to activate creativity is to activate pleasure within every facet of our being. So I have 2 journal prompts for you. The first, in your shedding the fear of truly feeling, how could pleasure arise in your creative work and in between them? I'll ask that again. In your shedding the fear of truly feeling, how could pleasure arise in your creative work and in between them? These questions are very thought-provoking, so if no thoughts immediately arise, just allow yourself to continue to give space to reflect on them after this session. Another journal prompt I have for you is, when are the moments when your soul is saying, this feels right to me, even if your mind is struggling to make sense of it? I'll ask that again. When are the moments where your soul is saying, this feels right to me, even if your mind is struggling to make sense of it? I'm sure that both of these journal prompts will allow you to tap into creativity that you may not have foreseen or experienced. As I was reflecting on these journal prompts, I pulled a goddess card for myself. And it really affirmed how pleasure arises in my own personal life. So I'll show you the goddess card. It's called Creative Cocooning. And it says, creative cocooning is a freedom I give myself. I create a safe nest for peace, healing, and calm. So for me, pleasure looks like resting. I know, probably not the first thing you would have thought about when you thought about pleasure, but resting gives me an unspeakable sense of peace. And while I'm resting, I take time to slow down and consume knowledge that inspires me to expand. And then as I'm expanding, I feel this love that pierces through my heart. And this euphoric pleasure arises. Reading books by Audre Lorde. Playing my sound bowl. Reading books from different elders and teachers from the past and in the present. I often find dancing, or what some may call dynamic meditation, to give me deep and profound pleasure. As I'm moving, I often feel deeply connected to lives from the past, from my elders and my ancestors. And this is how I create space for pleasure to arise. In those moments, my creativity is at its highest. And so I encourage you to explore pleasure within your own life, and also use the journal prompts to support you in expanding and connecting with that deep emotion. Thank you so much for joining me in this virtual guided meditation. If you are interested in continuing to connect with me, you can find me on Brown Girl Bloom. We are going to have a wellness retreat in May in Yallingup. So it'll be a wonderful opportunity for Black, Indigenous, and women of color to slow down and rest and rediscover pleasure. Be well.